right, so first of all, if you could describe your character on The Flash.
Sure. I play Detective Joe West, who is a senior detective in the Central City Police Department. I am also the father of Iris West, my biological daughter, and the adopted dad of Barry Allen, our Flash.
Yes. And what is, like, as far as you know anyway, and obviously you're just getting started, what is Detective West's role in the whole
world of this whole thing?
Yes,
Detective
basically.
West's role in the whole thing is to protect his kids, one being Barry, and the job became harder in the beginning of our story because Barry became a superhero.
Right. After getting hit by lightning too, so obviously life is getting tough for him.
You know, life's getting really tough for Barry. Yeah. So my job is to keep him on track and at his regular job, which is at the police department.
Right.
Of course, Barry, with this new ability, is all over the road, and his relationship with all the kids at Star Labs has got him sort of having notions about what he should be doing with his ability as opposed to what he should be doing with his real life.
Right.
And Joe has a lot of issues with that because A, he needs a job.
Kind of important.
B, he spends a lot of time with my daughter, and if he's going to run around in a red suit and fight villains and all that stuff, he's going to put my daughter and himself in a lot of harm's way.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a big concern for Joe because he's just a regular guy with a gun. Like, he doesn't have any superpowers to save his kids if something happens, you know? So those are his big concerns.
I could see how that might be something, you know.
Can you imagine?
That would be weird.
That would be really weird.
An odd dynamic to deal with. Yeah. And one of the things in the pilot, I mean, the character is very protective of Iris, especially. Yeah. Is that like just normal dad protection, or do you think
it is normal dad protection? Maybe a little too protective for someone who's a grown young woman.
Right.
But when things get a little bit metahuman, if you will, it's needed.
Right.
It's totally needed because, Iris doesn't seem to have a whole lot of fear, so she'll just sort of jump into situations with Barry. And of course, she doesn't know he's the Flash, so she's just sort of in these situations thinking, I'm hanging out with Barry and things are going to be great. La, la, la. And, of course, I'm sitting off on the sidelines. Where's Iris? She's with Barry. Oh, God, what happened? Suddenly there's an explosion or there's a weather change and you're like, oh, I got to go find my kids.
Right. They're in trouble again.
They're in trouble again. That's going to be my mantra. Kids are in trouble again.
It may have to be.
Yeah.
It's I kind of get the impression there's going to be a lot of trouble.
Yes, of course there is.
And what drew you to this?
Well, initially it was meeting up with Greg Berlanti and Andrew Kreisberg, who were so geeked and so excited. They were like little puppies who needed to pee. They're going to hate me for describing it that way, but that's kind of what it was. And it was so infectious. And they were so super psyched that I was even interested that I had to take them dead serious. And so I did. And then I have a friend who is like my group of friends, resident comic book guy.
Okay.
And when I said to him I was meeting them to consider playing Joe West in The Flash, he was like, if you don't do this, I'll kill you. I promise you, I'll kill you. And so I had to take it seriously, and before you knew it, I was
your life is on the line, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, he probably couldn't kill me. He is our comic book guy. So
I don't know. They're sneaky.
That's true. But really, he knew so much about the world and the universe and all that stuff, and he totally, he backed up all the things that Andrew and Greg had told me during our little meeting, and told me basically about the world and how important it was.
Right.
And from then on, I was like, I got to get involved in this. I'm not a comic book guy. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But I'm learning.
Right. And how was the pilot to make?
It was so much fun. I mean, first of all, we got a great group of people to work with, and not to mention hang with. Like, we spent a lot of time hanging out with each other, getting to know each other. But we had David Nutter, And David Nutter, as a director, as a person, is phenomenal. But as a director, that guy knows exactly what he's doing. Nobody does TV like David Nutter does TV.
No.
People who do movies should probably do movies like David Nutter does TV.
That's a pretty good way to put it, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, this guy knows what he's doing, and we felt super taken care of, and we knew that, like, whatever we couldn't fill in the story, Andrew, Greg, Jeff, and David had it for us.
Right.
They had it. They had our backs the whole way. So
They were invested.
yeah, we didn't have to worry so much.
Yeah. What do you want to see for Joe West? Like,
What I hope to see with Joe West, and this is going to sound funny, but I hope he never gets used to this situation.
okay, well, that makes sense.
Seeing all these new things, seeing all these new powers, these mysterious things that he really doesn't have any way of sort of taking in. I hope he never, ever, ever gets used to it, because it'll always remain interesting and something that he needs to investigate.
Right. Which it seems like, I mean, that's what he does. He investigates
He
things.
investigates. He's a
Protects
detective.
people. Yes.
And he protects people.
Pretty much describes his job, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That way. Well, they told me to wrap it up.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay.
yeah, I know. It's one of those things.
Well, it was